Hey, what's going on, everybody? Brady here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I'm going to show you guys the Roche Unkillable comp on Nightmare. So we're going to use the same team that we used on Ultra Nightmare difficulty, and we're going to show you guys the rotation that you need to do to use that team on Nightmare as well. You can 1-key Nightmare and 2-key Ultra Nightmare with the same team. Now let's go ahead and check the stats again. The most important thing is to gear your champions for damage, because you have Unkillable, their survivability doesn't matter. So you're going to want to look for speed to get the right speeds, and then after that just gear for as much damage as you possibly can. So with Roche, this is the most important champion because this is your Unkillable or block damage. His stats, 248 speed, and that's really the only thing that matters. He has 3100 attack, and then if you can gear him for crit damage and crit rate, but I couldn't get the speeds and the damage at the same time, so this is the best that we could come up with. The speed is the most important part. That's one thing to keep in mind. Damage for Roche is not as important as it is for everyone else. Then we have Draco. Total stats, 179 speed, and then he has 4k attack, 100 crit, and 228 crit damage, 291 accuracy. He doesn't need as much accuracy, but when we built this, he did not have as many points in Great Hall as he does now. Masteries for Draco are the only ones that are different for the whole team. Make sure that you're not getting Arcane Celerity and Lore of Steel. I would honestly just copy these. You can use these masteries for Draco in dungeons and in the clan boss. For everyone else, we have offense tree into War Master and defense tree into Retribution and Deterrence. For Doom Priests stats, we have 186 speed. You want to make sure that Doom Priest is the fastest because that is your cleanse. And then we have 2900 attack, and then we also gave her some crit and crit damage. Obviously she has too much crit, but we were kind of just trying to get the speed and some damage to go along with it. Skull Crusher, 174 speed. Then he has 3900 defense, 105% crit, and nothing else really matters. His gear, crit rate gloves, defense percentage body, and defense percentage boots. I didn't show Doom Priest artifacts. We have crit rate gloves, attack percentage body, and attack percentage boots. Easily get her speed a little bit higher and change up the gear. But since we only need 186 speed, I wanted to give it a little bit of extra damage, and that's why we went with attack percentage boots. And then we have a Cult Brawler. A Cult Brawler is 177 speed. He has 232 accuracy, and then a little bit over 100% crit and 140% crit damage. Artifacts, crit rate, attack percentage, and speed. And then up here, obviously, we're looking for speed, crit rate, crit damage on all of the champions that don't need accuracy. If they do need accuracy, like Draco and Occult Brawler, we're looking for damage, speed, and also accuracy on top of that. Alright, so that's the team. Let's go ahead and run Nightmare Clan Boss. Make sure that it's not on auto. Okay, so it's the same thing as always here. We're going to start with Unkillable. Here we do this. Okay, and then Skull Crusher will A1. Now, you can't actually use Skull Crusher here for counter. You're looking to use Skull Crusher for the Unkillable to E the stun. So he's going to counter before the stun turn. So that way he eats the single target stun attack with his Unkillable. Now, I guess it doesn't matter, but normally you would have to, for affinity, you have to use you have to use a Cult Brawler differently. You have to use his A2. Okay. Now we have this. 1. 1. Now here is where he needs to use his counter. And now we can attack buff. Now see, he has his Unkillable up here. You don't want to use it. This is where you have to skip it. So pretty much after this, you can go ahead and auto. The reason why you skip it there is because Roche gets 2 turns there, but he balances himself out throughout the fight, and because he gets 2 extra turns there, or he gets an extra turn during that phase there, you have to skip the first part there, because if you left it on auto, after the counter, or after you put up Skull Crusher's A2 or whatever, Unkillable, I guess it's really there for the Unkillable. So we could call it putting up Skull Crusher's Unkillable. So after you put up Skull Crusher's Unkillable, Roche is going to get a turn. You have to skip A3, and then when he gets another turn, he will use the Unkillable. Now, as soon as you skip that A3, after he has his cooldown, you can go ahead and press auto. This comp is really, really nice because it really allows you to get maximum number of chests with a limited amount of time. This does not take a very long time to do. The setup is very, very minimal. A couple of turns and it's done. So like maybe a minute and a half of actual play a day to get maximum Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare chests. Obviously the amount of time it takes to run it on your phone or on your computer on auto, that's not accounted for, but you catch my drift. You know what I'm saying here. Okay. Hope we get decreased defense and weaken here soon. Oh yeah, we're gonna get it on this turn. After stun, yo, after stun. So, as I mentioned in the video when I did it for Ultra Nightmare, if you don't have Draco, you can run Rosin. Build for damage, he'll provide you with decreased defense and weaken, and then Cult Brawler is going to provide you with poisons. If you don't have Doom Priest, you can run Grizzled Yara, you can run Bad L, but Doom Priest works really well because attack up. Seeing as how Cult Brawler and Draco are both attack-based champions, we're doing more damage because we have attack up. Okay, turn 20, 17 mil. We're looking good damage-wise. We need 40 mil. To 1 key. And this should not be a problem at all with this team. Don't have a Cult Brawler for your poisons, and you don't have Rosin, or you don't have Rosin and you have a Cult Brawler, you can also use Frozen Banshee. Aethar might be a decent option here as well. Aethar can do a decent amount of damage. Obviously, Venus can work. Bad L and a debuff extender can also work. There's definitely a lot of options since you have Unkillable, and if you have somebody to take the stun, so you either need somebody very, very tanky to take the stun. It really works well with Skull Crusher because you can control it by putting up counter on everyone else, and Skull Crusher not having it allows us to control who the boss targets. Yeah, definitely way above on the damage mark. Should probably be around 45. I'd say, maybe. We'll see. Obviously, Draco is the best option here for DPS. If you have a second one, like myself, go ahead and use it. You could also use, if you have Draco, you can use Septimus here. Septimus would definitely add a lot of damage here because his physical damage is very high. And seeing as how you don't have to build Septimus tanky, you will be able to build him full damage, so that would work out really, really well, and you could extend Draco's poisons. The options are unlimited with this whole Rosh comp. I really, really like it. I'm hoping that I pull Rosh from my account. I am running the 2 Mania Unkillable, and it does really, really well. And I don't really have to worry about affinities. But it would be nice to build a Rosh team for Void Hit. Just because, you know, bragging rights or whatever. Pulling like Rosh and Septimus in my account would be really, really beneficial for my clan boss team. Bragging rights purposes. Currently, I 2-key no matter what it is. If I do a Void Hit and then a Force Hit, even with my DPS being Draco, I have no issues. Okay. Easy. Easy 1-key Nightmare, 2-key Ultra Nightmare team. Well, not necessarily easy. The team does it easy, it's not necessarily easy to build. It definitely is now with the artifact sorting system, but before, oh my god. Here we go. 44.51 mil. Very nice. Max chest. And then, like I said, we use the same team on Ultra Nightmare and 2-key Ultra Nightmare as well. Let's show the speeds one more time. We have Rosh at 248. Draco is at 179. Doom Priest is at 186. Skull Crusher 174, and we have Call Brawler at 177. Pretty much you could copy the speeds. If you're building this, just make sure you're not using Lower Steel. 248 Rosh, and then make sure that Doom Priest is the fastest, and then like 179, 177, 178, 176. Anything like that will work for your DPS. I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.